I'm Jordan, and I'm going to be going to Harvey Mudd College this next year. New Roads has helped enable me to liberate my full human potential through the very wide wealth of opportunities that it's provided me through things like robotics, technical theater, debate, advanced math classes, science classes, kind of literally everything I could possibly imagine I've been able to accomplish or do at New Roads. Yeah, I think that the authentic diversity at New Roads really comes across in the actual lessons, in the conversations that we're having in classrooms. You know, the teacher might pose some topic that initially you might think is going to have some very simple cut and dry answer because you're looking at it from just your perspective, but then you start to see the wide, breadth of different ideas that different people have through diverse, not just, racially or socially, but diverse in literally every which way. In terms of personalities, racially, socially, ideologically speaking, every which way the community can be diverse, it is, and that really comes across in these discussions where you're hearing these other perspectives on different issues that you might have never even imagined. It's structured enough, you have everyone's taking these core classes. Everyone's taking, for example, in 12th grade, everyone has to take a social science class. You have the freedom to pick whether you're taking a class about the modern Middle East or about psychology or world religions or whatever it may be. And I think this is true even more so in electives. I think there's really no better example of it than in electives at New Roads. There are literally countless electives in the arts, in STEM, in creative writing, and literally anything you can possibly imagine. There's a class that you can take to kind of further that further your expression of that, further your knowledge in that field, further your, continue to pursue that. I think that all of the teachers really encourage you to take what they're, all of the teachers at New Roads really encourage you, us as the students, to take what they're teaching and run with that, to take the next step, to apply that to whatever, else is going on in our lives. To say, in biology, for instance, we were learning about fungus, fungi and all of that. And I've always been really into baking and yeast and all of that, and so I ended up pursuing then from that an independent study project all about yeast. Yeast is a single-celled fungus, kind of different than most of the others, very unique, very different. And so I then spent a whole year in 10th grade researching, using a bunch of the equipment here at New Roads, growing starters at home, analyzing them under the microscopes and dissecting scopes and things like that. And so New Roads really pushes you and encourages that and makes that a possibility in the first place. I'm someone who's always really enjoyed learning prior to New Roads, and especially at New Roads, because New Roads has really fostered that love of learning. I think a large part of that is just the way in which things are taught. It's really engaging, it's really hands-on, it's really, yes, we're all learning the same general things, but you can really kind of spin that to how you want to learn, what you want to learn about, dive deeper into what really matters to you. And I think that this is especially true in things like math. For me, I've always been very much a STEM kid, math, science. And so I was at New Roads able to, I joined New Roads in 7th grade, and I was able to start taking more advanced math classes pretty much from the get-go. And as that kind of got its way, as I worked my way up through that in 9th grade, I took advanced pre-calc. And then New Roads' traditional math sequence was then to do Calc A in 10th grade, or in 1 year, and Calc B in a 2nd year. I kind of talked with the school for a while, took a few months, but we ended up creating a new class that did calculus in just 1 year, which I took in 10th grade, and they encouraged that and welcomed that. And then from there, that led to multivariable calc in 11th grade and now linear algebra, which they hired a new teacher for in 12th grade. So they've really helped to encourage that learning, helped to encourage that growth. What's most special to me about the New Roads learning community is probably the sense of community that permeates throughout the entire learning process. There's a lot of group projects, there's a lot of working together, and I think going back to this idea of diversity, because we're working together, we're getting exposed to these different ideas. This learning isn't happening in a vacuum, it's happening in the real world, and that real world is complicated. There is no one right answer, and I think that the way the teachers teach, the way they conduct classes, the way we learn, there is no, this is, the answer to how this, to this historical event, to this potential idea, whatever it may be. It's always discussion-based, it's always everyone in the community working together to solve a problem, whether that's as simple as something in math class, there's maybe 5 different ways to solve it, and we're all going to work through it in different ways and then kind of explain those different ideas to each other. Or something like an English class where we're all analyzing a book from our own unique perspectives and kind of having a respectful discourse and discussion about those different ideas. There's no one right answer. It's about the process. It's about what can we extrapolate from this. Being at New Roads really influenced the schools that I was applying to and that I'm now attending. I'm going to Harvey Mudd, which is a very small school similar to New Roads, only about 900 people. It's very one-on-one, very personal relationships with your professors, actually getting to know them, not these large lecture halls. And so these are ideas that are really important, really core principles of New Roads that mattered a lot to me. And so I really was looking for those ideas in my actual college search. And I think furthermore, New Roads' intellectual rigor, constantly challenging me to take the next step, to do actual research, like an ISP, to do things like that in high school have really prepared me for college and beyond, because that is what's really happening. It's all about learning. New Roads has really taught me how to learn. And that's really what it comes down to, right? When we're going into college, when we're going into life beyond that, it's continuously learning throughout your whole life. New Roads is really taught me how to learn, which I think is really going to be important for no matter what I do in the future. But I also think that New Roads' commitment to diversity, to social justice, to the environment, all of these things are ideas that are really important no matter what we're pursuing these days, because these permeate all aspects of life in the modern world. And so the commitment to them, the importance of them, the true understanding of these topics is going to be really relevant as I go forward. New Roads' culture is truly unique in that it really does bring together every possible person you can imagine. I've been, I was at other schools before. There really is nowhere else that I've been that's like it, that truly is such a perfect embodiment of society as a whole. That takes picture anybody you can imagine, there's going to be someone like that at New Roads. And so that really is powerful because it really does create that impossibly wide breadth of opinion, that impossibly wide understanding of all of these different aspects of people's lives.